Thank you. Oh, Ranger, run! Hustle. Put some hustle in this step. All right. Good evening, everybody. Sorry, there's a bit of traffic out there today. I don't know what's going on. We apologize, but we are ready to get started. Today is Wednesday, March 4th, and we will be starting at 6:07 p.m. Sorry about the delay, guys. Again, like I said, there was something going on out there, so it's kind of hard to get in here. First off, we are going to call the meeting to order and pledge of allegiance. All right, perfect. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Alejandro. We appreciate that. All right. If you're new here visiting with us today, thank you for coming. In the back, there are some handouts as well as comment cards. If you'd like to make a public comment, you have 3 minutes to make a public comment on anything you'd like. We just ask that you keep it within the 3 minutes parameter and keep it respectful. Other than that, if you want, you can fill out the comment card and you will turn it into Miss Jessica over here, and she will bring it up to you, and we will call you in order. Under well, there is also the agenda back there. Under the number 6 public comment section. Okay. Roll call: Angela McLean, Yvonne Delgado, Teresa Escoto here, Alejandro Marisco, Joseph Silva. Perfect. All right. Starting off, Supervisor Joe Baca Jr.'s office, we have Jessica.
Hello. Good evening, MAC members, community members. My name is Jessica Andelon, and I'm with Office of Supervisor Joe Baca Jr. With a couple of updates today. First of all, we would like to thank everybody that attended our 4th annual Kite Day and all of our different partners, including our Bloomington MAC that hosted a booth. Thank you all for coming out. It was a beautiful, sunshiny day, and lots of families were able to enjoy some recreational activities. We also would like to thank Congressman Aguilar for awarding us a little bit over $1 million for our septic to sewer expansion project that will take place here on Marigold and along some valley extensions. And we want to thank everybody that was able to attend our check presentation at our Bloomington Library, which, by the way, it's a beautiful facility. We do recommend that. It's just right here on the other side of the park. Please visit it. They also have lots of different programming that we'll be able to continue to share. On AB 98, I know our Department of Land Use Services in the past has been able to come and present and hosted various community meetings. Our office has requested that they continue to engage with you guys as well as community on any updates, and especially as they roll out phase 2. So they will be attending the MAC meeting next month to go over drive signage plan for the Bloomington area. You all have a copy of the map next to you, as well as there's copies in the back for community members. This information is for you to take a month to review. If you have any questions that are specific to it, they are open to answering those next month when they are here as part of the presentation. And please note that this also has been posted on the AB 98 website for our land use department website. We also would like to invite everybody, as we are going to be hosting our annual fishing day at Glen Helen Regional Park. This will take place on March 28th. and registration is open on our social media. This is for the first 150 kids, just based on registration. It's in partnership with Regional Parks, Probation, and all Children and Family Services departments. We'll have lots of departments for resources, and it's a wonderful event where kids are taught how to fish. Then they go through different stations, and they learn how to cook the fish, how to clean it. It's pretty great. So please share. Again, it's first come, first serve. So we just posted that, hoping that all those spots get filled. On that note, we also are looking for Earth Day volunteers, so please save the date. That will be taking place on April 25th. More details to come. We are working alongside with our code enforcement on identifying the area here in Bloomington for cleanup. And if you guys have any ideas or any input that you'd like to, please feel free to stop by and see me or send me an email at jessica.andalon@bos.sbcounty.gov. And as we begin the month of March, we'd like to note that our office will be recognizing our sheroes. One of them being a Bloomington resident, Lonnie Richling, which is a dance teacher here at the community center. So we'd like to thank everybody that made submissions, as well as we'd like to note that in January, we had our nonprofit of the year, as well as our Fab Five, and the Olive Branch was recognized. So thank you for everything that you guys do to our community. Lastly, we would like to note that Mr. Gilbert Everhart is going to be appointed as the last alternate MAC member on our Tuesday Board of Supervisors meeting. So he will be joining the MAC meeting next month when it becomes official. But Mr. Everhart, if you can please stand up and wave. So if everyone can just give him a warm welcome, and then he'll be setting up with you guys next month. And now I'd like to introduce Karina Cabrera, which is previously with Governor's Office, now is with SCE, and she will be the new representative for Bloomington. But do you guys have any questions? Yeah, so yeah, do you want to ask specifically so it's recorded? Yes, absolutely. So the Spark program is in partnership with our HR department. County does put out limited amount of paid internships through the Spark program. It's ages 16 through 24, if I'm not mistaken, and the spots fill up pretty fast as well. It's just an internship that allows for opportunity to partner with different departments, and it does lead to employment in various cases. We have one of the girls that interned last year at Legislative Affairs that has now come on to be an employee with the county. So we definitely encourage for everybody that knows anybody between 16 and 24 to apply. As those prerequisites are released, our office will be able to share them on our socials, and we'll be sure to send them out to our MAC members so that you guys can also share it with the community. But that's the gist of it. If you need any more information, you're welcome to let me know, and I can get that for you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Of course. And here's Karina now.
Good evening, community. As Jessica shared, my name is Karina Cabrera. I'm Southern California Government Relations Manager covering Bloomington and some of the surrounding communities such as San Bernardino and Rialto as well. No stranger to Bloomington. Actually, my mom is a resident. She lives like 5 minutes from here. So I'm always spending time here, bring my kids here to Ayala Park. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to serve this community in this new capacity. I just really wanted to come out here to introduce myself. This is my second month in the role. So I've been trying to make it out and about to form those strong relationships with our local leaders. And we formed a really strong partnership with Supervisor Baca's office and his wonderful staff. So that it would be great for me to come out and just introduce myself, know that I'm here to serve as a resource on behalf of SCE. And as well, I'd love to come at a later time to provide a presentation on some of our programs, as well as reliability continues to be a top priority for us. We have various projects that are going to improve reliability for Bloomington. So I'd love to come back and provide a presentation on that, as well as on our wildfire mitigation plan. So I'll work with Jessica to get that scheduled for the next couple of months. You have my business card though, so if you have any questions, if you would like to have a further conversation, I would love to connect. And as I shared, we're here to serve the community. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Karina, and welcome aboard. We appreciate having you. Thank you for the contact information. I'm sure we will be using that. And we just wanted to say, Gil, congratulations and welcome, Gil. And we're excited to see what you're bringing to the table. So can we all just give Gil another round of applause, guys? All right, great. We are going to go a little bit out of order just once tonight. So we are going to bring up Aaron Spear from Special Districts. He needs to take off for a bit, so we're going to let him do his thing ahead of time. All right, guys? Thank you.
Thank you for letting me jump in line. It's picture day at Kessler Park, so I got to get down there. Just a couple of quick things. Again, just to echo Jessica, the Kite Day, thank you to all that were involved. It was an amazing day. It's funny, it's the 4th year, and it's really fantastic to see what that's grown into and how big it's getting. Huge thank you to the county partners and then the local partners. Everybody was truly amazing. It was a great day, and we had beautiful weather. So look forward to that again next year. Personally, want to thank the Art Connection. They were out and repaired the damage to the mural last month. Came out beautiful. They did a fantastic job, and now we can all look at it again with a smile and not with a cringe. So hopefully it stays hopefully it stays in the shape that it is right now. It's beautiful. Just getting ready this weekend for Bloomington Little League's opening day at Kessler Park. They have a pancake breakfast in the morning, and then opening day will be at 11 a.m. So we look forward to helping them and supporting them on their big opening of the year. Here at the Park District, we have Lego Day coming up. It's a chance for your child to register and come and play with other little kids and play with Legos and get to interact and do something other than be in front of a phone or a tablet for a little bit. Then Easter's right around the corner. We will be having a visit from the Easter Bunny as well as Easter egg hunts. We have flyers in the back and information, so please circle that. And then lastly, we're super excited about the new swings and picnic shelters that will be starting to come online here in the next 6 weeks. They're going to try and all do it so that it's not under construction for such a long period of time. They're going to try and kind of sandwich it together. The park will be open. It still will be functional. The splash pad will be open during all that. But there's just going to be a little bit of time where they're installing the picnic shelters and the swing sets. That'll be a little somewhat of an inconvenience for some. So, but we'll work around that, and we'll try and keep it as fun and as lively as it is right now, and look forward to those new improvements from Supervisor Baca and the County of San Bernardino. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
All right. Do we have a state legislature update?
He's very tall. Hello, Mac. Thank you for having me again. It's been a while since I've seen you, so it's nice to see you all. The Assemblymember Garcia did finalize his bill package, so I came to present on a couple of those that are, I think, most pertinent to the region, or just to families in our region. So the first one that I want to start with is called AB 1770, which is the Healthcare Arbitration Fairness Act. Currently, a lot of health plans in our region and specifically in Southern California, um, the arbitration heavily favors the plan, right? So like Kaiser Permanente chooses the arbitrator if you have a claim against them, or Redlands Regional Hospital gets to choose the arbitrator. And we think that's really unfair because we've noticed that the claims are heavily um, in favor of the plan. So the actual patient ends up losing twice, right? So they don't get the type of care that they need, and then when they sue for they lose again. So we're trying to make the arbitrator selection process unbiased, and so that's what this bill is about, and that is AB 1770. Um, Next up, 1777. This bill might be a little familiar. Last year it was AB 914. This year it is AB 1777. This has to do with indirect source rules, bringing some regulations to indirect sources. So that what that means is for our region, where we are heavily impacted by warehousing and logistics, making sure that the logistics companies are the cleanest that they can be within reason, right? So we obviously don't expect them to go 100% electric or 100% hydrogen or whatever the case may be. It's just like let's start the process. The biggest complaint we hear is that the infrastructure is not there. We don't have the technology. So it's a way to incentivize that transition to start implementing cleaner technology and logistics, because our air quality is still the worst air quality in the country, and we are trying to do something about that. Next up, we have Assembly Bill 2144. This is called the Second Chance Act. This has to do with cardiac arrest screenings, specifically for student athletes. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but just last week, I forget where it happened. A young soccer player died on the field because uh, he had a heart malfunction during a game, right? And so that has been happening more and more, and it goes unseen. So this is making it mandatory for any student athlete to make sure they have an AED screening before they are allowed to be on the field, and that will be across the board. Some school districts already implement something similar, so we want to make sure that it becomes statewide. Next up, we have Assembly Bill 2264. This is an expansion on a bill that we had last year with Senator Eloise Gomez Reyes. This one is the California Bridge and Highway Safety Act. So in Rancho Cucamonga specifically, there was a suicide bridge, essentially, is what they coined it, where a ton of high school students were committing suicide. And while there is a mental health aspect to it, something that the city really wanted to do was to build railing to make it harder for them to do, right? At least make it easier, or make it harder for them to do, so that police can get there with more time, right? And get these kids off the bridge, or not just kids, but anyone. So that successfully happened with the collaboration of our office, Senator Reyes' office, Caltrans, and the city of Rancho Cucamonga. So we are trying to expand that here in the region to other bridges that have had similar problems, but also statewide. So if we can find the funding to fund some of these in these priority areas, that is what this bill is about. And lastly, the one I will leave y'all with is Assembly Bill 2145. This is our senior mortgage portability bill. So in efforts to make housing more available for young families who are starting out, we want to incentivize seniors to be able to reassign their mortgage rate. So if you have a really good 3% mortgage rate and you are considered a senior here in California, and you want to downgrade it, we're not forcing anyone to downsize, but sometimes it doesn't make sense, right? You're gonna sell your 5-bedroom, 3-bath to buy a 2-bed, 2-bath, and you're paying about the same, right? Because the price was so much higher and the interest rate is so much higher. So if you're able to at least assign your lower rate to your new purchase and bring that with you, that might incentivize some seniors to downsize. One of the reasons this bill exists is because we've seen a couple of studies show that some seniors will have a multi-level home or a two-story house, and they only live on the first floor, right? And so the second floor isn't being utilized. That could be being utilized by a growing family. And so to make housing a little bit more available and to help out our seniors, this might be this could be a great solution for that. And so that is all I have for you today. I know that was a lot, but I will be in communication with Jessica and send her these full sheets so that you have them for your review. And if you so choose as a MAC board, we would love your support on any of these bills that you think would benefit Bloomington specifically, but our region at large. If we could have a letter of support that we can submit to the assembly on your behalf, we would really appreciate that. Thank you. I can take questions, but I will also make sure Jessica has all the information. Any questions? No question? Okay, yes.
On it was 2144, the Second Chance Act. That was for the heart one, right?
Yeah.
Is that going to be just in high schools, or is it going to be any sport?
Anywhere that there's a sport with minors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And thank you. That was my
All
question.
right, thank you.
E? It was quite a sight pulling up today. I was like, whoa, okay, we got some presents there today.
Why is there so many cops here?
Yeah.
I showed up and I was like, oh my God. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me again. I'm Officer Esteban Alvarez. I have a lot of news. I'll keep it short though. And I know last time you had requested kind of a call volume that CHP deals with in the area. I went to our dispatch center earlier today and kind of had it broken down. So I didn't know. I was made aware today. So basically any 911 calls that come in from cell phones, even if it's not for CHP, get sent through CHP. So even if it's potentially a sheriff's handle or even a Fontana PD handle and it happened within the Bloomington area, we get those calls. So we try to filter it as much as possible. So there probably is some calls missing, but last year we had about 47 pages, so almost 3,000 calls. That's just CHP that's handling, whether it's car accidents, things blocking the roadway, medical emergencies, things like that. I pulled it up also last year. I didn't get 2024, but last year we had 3 fatality car accidents in the Bloomington area, which is lower than some other areas that we deal with. So that's what I was able to pull up with that. They give us such a huge list of things and it's hard to narrow it down. So yeah, we had 47 pages of over 60 calls per page, and that's already taking things out. We didn't include like fire calls because obviously, we're not always gonna respond to a firefighter call. Some medical emergencies, we pulled those out also. So it's hard to narrow it down just because we vet a lot of 911 calls with the highway patrol. So that's what made it a little bit more difficult. Last time I was here also, I know there was a big traffic complaint for Cactus between Santa Ana and Aruba. I myself went out and did enforcement there, wrote some tickets, did some educational also, kind of depended on what the situation was. The big problem that I was seeing is really going to be the Amazon warehouse. FedEx has their hub off of Riverside, so there are not too many commercial driving through Cactus. For that reason, it was mostly Amazon. So I went to the Amazon hub, I spoke to a supervisor, went to FedEx and spoke with the supervisor and let them know we're having issues with your guys' drivers, your employees. You guys need to have a safety briefing with them and talk to them about and I know there's a huge problem with them running stop signs and basically speeding through the area. So I went and spoke with them. And then we also just got technically 10 new officers to the area. So that's going to help us basically bump up our numbers. Because of that, we were able to get 2 dedicated units that are the cops team. So they're going out and dealing more with enforcement and traffic complaints. I've spoken with the captain here and Rialto PD. We're going to do a dedicated enforcement day in Bloomington, trying to figure out a day that works for everybody with commercial and just overall traffic enforcement within the area. I know that was one of your guys' big concerns, especially down like off of Cactus. So that's something we're working on. So those 2 gentlemen are motor units, so they're able to get around a little bit easier and basically get to calls a little bit faster, whether it's mostly traffic complaints. But they are for the area, so certain days they are going to have to break off and go, to Mentone or Muscoy and other areas. But I'm going to try to get them sent in Bloomington at least, pretty consistent. Yeah. Again, we got 10 new officers, so that's going to help out. I think that's basically it. And then again, I went out and did enforcement in the area. I spent basically all day today at Bloomington High School talking to kids because they're going to be driving here pretty soon. And they're either going to be a problem or they're going to listen. So hopefully they listen to me. So yeah, you guys have any questions for me?
Not sure if you were addressing the homeless off the 10 freeway. Was that something that I think you were?
They just had a meeting, so my captain had a meeting with Caltrans. I forget exactly what day it was, in regards to the homeless. So they are working on something with that also. The other thing is it's just finding somewhere for them to go. And a lot of times, unfortunately, when we do the Caltrans cleanups, we'll go because we have to give them notice. So we'll give notice. They have 72 hours to move their belongings. We'll come back, 72 hours later, they move their belongings. But as soon as we go down the road, they're immediately coming back. So it's a vicious cycle of dealing with it. And it's like that for the entire area. But I know they did have a meeting recently in regards to it, and they're starting to get a little bit more proactive with homeless enforcement or contacts. So we're trying. It's a never-ending. It's a cycle, unfortunately. Because I've noticed that I'll work in the homeless encampments myself, and again we'll do the contact, the initial hey, you have 72 hours, move your things, and then we're back within that same spot, within the next month, and there's just as many of them. Or sometimes they listen and they stay out of the area.
That makes sense because I see that they're there and then they move down half a mile. They set up there and then have down half a mile or go back.
Yeah. So for example, I'll use because the last time I did the homeless encampment was off of Del Rosa and the 210.
Mm-hmm.
I know not Bloomington, but just as an example, we basically served the notices that they had to move. They moved off of state property to just north of it, which is San Bernardino PD and county property or city property. And then once PD or county or whoever goes and contacts them, they come right back down to city or state property. So we're trying. It's just there's just things we have to do because of laws.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Any other questions? Hello, sir. Mhm. Mhm. Yes. So the car that's working this area, depending on how many units we have that day, we split things into sections, or we call them beats. It's either going to be a 102 or a 103 beat. And it just depends how many people we have working that day. Sometimes we don't have a 102 and we'll have the 103. That beat would basically cover on the 10 freeway from Sierra to over by Pepper and cover Bloomington also. So they are responsible for a portion of the freeway also. So if an emergency call comes out on the freeway, they will have to respond there also. If there's something in Bloomington, they come down here. So it depends on how many officers we have working that day. 5 of the 10 new officers that we got are trainees. So they are currently in training. They should be done training, I think, next month or the following. So then if they make it off of training, they'll be out on their own. So it would help some of the numbers. Yeah. So I know they try to get down here when they can. Like when I don't have things going on, I come down and do enforcement in Bloomington because I have a vested interest. My family lives down the street, so I think they've seen me making stops. I try. So I go out myself and do enforcement stops and do proactive work if I don't have anything going on. It's difficult right now because I have a lot of meetings and career days, and I get invited everywhere. So the days that I'm able to, I do go out. I patrol Bloomington on my and my command's okay with it. But again, we're working on a day with Rialto PD, the sheriffs, and the highway patrol, just to come saturate the area. We're just trying to figure out a day that we're going to do that.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for reaching out to Amazon and FedEx. I appreciate that, and I know our community members appreciate that. And I could see you made some ladies very happy that you're patrolling the area. So that's really good news because they have felt like that area has been a little bit neglected in the past. So we do appreciate that you went that extra mile to take care of that. Thank you.
And I don't mind. I'll go out and write the tickets. And I went and talked to Amazon because a lot of the people that were going through the stop sign or the big rigs was Amazon. FedEx was doing a lot better. So I went and I left them my information. I let them know that, hey, we're going to start doing dedicated enforcement on random days in the area, just so it's like a surprise. And I told them, you guys need to have a safety meeting because it's a problem. So I know you guys, when I come in here, you guys talk to me, we get the calls for service and the traffic will play. So it's notated. That's why I don't mind going out and doing the enforcement because I have family that lives on campus. And it would be unfortunate to see somebody get hurt because this FedEx driver, this Amazon driver wants to get back to the office, or they're building 2 seconds earlier. Yeah, obviously people don't think about that, unfortunately, because they're trying to get to their next drop off, or they want to get back because they want to go home, but it's like everybody wants to go home. Yeah. So I try to explain that to the drivers as nicely as I can. Yeah, thank you. Did you have anything?
Yes. Thank you for coming. Thank you for going the extra mile, as Teresa said. Question, can we get some kind of patrolling on Valley and Cedar? It is ridiculous. The traffic, the people that block the whole section, trying to get on the freeway. I mean, it's just, people just, they get stuck right in the middle. Big rigs will hold all the traffic up. 4 lights, I mean, and
I'm not
also.
texting, I promise. I'm just writing.
Yeah, no. And also on Bloomington Avenue and Cedar as well. They do the same thing there.
Okay.
So it's just really bad.
Okay, I'll let the 2 gentlemen know. Is it specific timing? I'm assuming like around rush hour, 4 or 5 p.m. roughly.
In the morning,
also?
yeah,
Okay.
in the morning as well.
I'll let there's a sergeant that's in charge of them. I'll speak with the 3 of them and let them know just to what's going on in the area. And again, if there's a day that I don't have a meeting or I'm at a school reading, doing other stuff, I'll go to that area also.
Thank you.
I don't mind.
Thank you.
I'll probably be in a Tahoe writing tickets. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you guys have a question for you guys now? Is there any sort of time frame for the bridge being done? 'Cause I have no idea. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And we will request for SBCTA to come and provide any updates. I know that they did around October, November, so we'll request that they come out and do coordination with you as well.
I'm curious too, that way I know, because I usually avoid Cedar when I go to my parents' house. I exit Riverside or I go to Sierra for that reason. Yeah. Yeah, so, okay, cool. Thank you so much. You guys have a great evening. Well, no, that's in my personal card. I don't want you. Thank you.
Code enforcement. Right? Wait.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Moises Sanchez. I am the Bloomington Code Enforcement Officer. I have with me Nicole Gonzalez, Senior Code Enforcement Officer. Just wanted to give you guys our contact information if you had any code enforcement issues to address. You can call us. Our number is 909-884-4056. Any code enforcement issues such as junk and trash at a property, inoperable abandoned vehicles, if you see illegal construction, unpermitted constructions, room additions, they make a house in the backyard, anything, running a business from the property, a residential property, truck terminal things, those are all things you could refer to us. Give us a call, report it. We'll conduct an inspection and follow up with the owner to get everything taken care of. We also have some abatement programs that we do. We can remove tires on the side of the street. If you see them, you could call us. We'll come by and pick them up. Also, if you see graffiti, you could give us a call, let us know where it's at. We'll report it to the contractor and get it cleaned up. And also illegal dumping, we have a work release program. So if there's some illegal dumping done like in an alleyway or on even private property, we can go and pick up the illegal dumping and clean it up. A few other things I just wanted to go over. Our office, we're located 268 West Hospitality Lane in Suite 300 in San Bernardino. We're open 8 to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and you could go there. That's where majority of the code officers are. That's where my office is. That's where Nicole's office is. To speak in person to us, or if you had something that you needed to take care of, you could go to the office as well. Just following up with some of the things that were mentioned last MAC meeting. We're still working on the heat map that was requested. So we're still trying to get with IT and have them finish that up for us. There was a mention about encampments along the 10 freeway at the end of Locust. We worked on that for about 2 days straight. We got everybody cleared out from there. Picked up about 40 tires. Went out twice with Deputy Valencia there. I don't know if they're back. I haven't been there in the last few days. They may have, but we actually made contacts with a person from Caltrans who gave me the key to go back there if I need to and get those people out of there. So that was a success. The Dollar Tree parking lot, we've been working a lot on that. I got a hold of that owner for that vacant restaurant. So they went back, they cleaned it all up, they boarded it up again. They cleared out that trash can enclosure that they like to occupy so much. That's cleaned up. What else do we have? There was a property over on Valley 19080 that we did a warrant inspection on. Found some stolen vehicles right there. That one's going to be probably boarded up and secure. We don't want to let that one get out of hand. I got a call from a citizen who said people are starting to go back there again. So that's on our map again to take care of that. That's really about all I have. I'll turn it over to my partner here for an update on vendor enforcement.
Hi, everybody. So for the month of February, we were able to coordinate with the Sheriff's Department and go out on 4 separate illegal street vending sweeps. On the 22nd, we went out. We were able to issue 3 citations. I'm sorry, I went a little backwards. So on the 13th, we went out. We issued 8 citations. The 15th, we issued 7 citations. The 20th, we issued 4 citations. And the 22nd, we issued 3 citations. I don't have those on me. Yes.
south of Santa Ana, right? Yeah. Right.
One truck storage facility, and right next to that one is one that's opened up with modular trim for office, restrooms, 5 different gravel pits, you can get 5 different colors of rock delivered to your house. It's a full-on repair shop business.
Yeah.
Serious. I asked about 3 meetings.
Yeah, no, yeah, that is on our list. We are addressing that one. It's not as far along in the process. It's still kind of new for us. But as I mentioned last time, we're taking a more quicker approach with the truck terminals right now because we realize how backed up things are in court. So we're really just trying to go straight to the court. We're kind of eliminating the inspection, the reinspection, working with these owners. They know what they're doing is wrong, and they're operating when we tell them to not operate anyways. So we're taking them straight to litigation or misdemeanor. Those do have good outcomes. It's just a long process, unfortunately. And I know I said that last time. I did mention a few ideas to our county council about what we can do in that in between. But I have to wait from them to give me an answer on what I can legally do and should not do. Because if there's pending litigation, sometimes they don't want us doing other things until we get to court. So it is in the process. I know I apologize for the length of time, but it's going forward.
If you don't mind me asking, how does the citation process work? Do you cite?
Yes, so we
Once that owner sells that property,
well,
the next owner starts all over again at the very beginning.
if there's a change, start over, yeah.
So you think maybe there's a way we could go through legislation or something to get that changed to where the citation goes to the property owner, but that property is now tagged to where the next owner comes in and they do the same thing. They start where the old one left off at. The old one was at 5 citations already. The new owner starts off at 6 citations.
Right.
That's what they're doing. That's the loophole. They're going to sell it to the cousin. They're going to sell it to them again. They're going to sell it back to the cousin over here. And the process just keeps starting over. That's why they want us setting it within 13 years.
Yeah.
It's the whole process. How do we go about changing that?
I'll bring that up to the county council. I'll ask them. They're the ones that will let me know, and I'll let you know. Absolutely. I forgot to mention there was an encampment on Locust that we're going to take care of that one on Sunday. Okay. For the locations on the vendors, I know she doesn't have the exact, but we have a list. You'd say maybe like 20 locations that we've been given or where we've seen people. But it's definitely the main ones like Santa Ana, San Bernardino Avenue, Cedar. All those ones, yeah, those are for sure being. Yeah.
I didn't hear that. Can you speak in the speaker?
I'm sorry. She asked about the locations for the vendors. 20 different locations that we already have in our system, and they're all the main ones, the ones that you see on like Santa Ana, San Bernardino Valley. So likely the ones we're seeing. Any questions?
So, with I can't remember how long ago it was, but it was within the last couple of months. I had brought up about the pallet yard that is operating off of Linden between I think 7th and 10th Street or something. It's 7th and 8th. It's a residence, and I mean it's full on pallet yards. And I know some of the people in the area are concerned because if there's a fire, which happens a lot at pallet yards, their houses are gone. And I really think that's a huge safety concern. I mean, not just because of all the wood that's there, but if you were to drive by and see what it looks like when you drive by, that doesn't even look like it's safe to be having those things teetering off of the street like that. Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, if it's in a residential area, it's not allowed.
Right.
I'm sure we have probably a long-running case history on that. I don't have the details of that, but I can do some research on that and make sure we get as up to date on it as we can, so that we have
Yeah,
that.
can bring us an update on that
Yeah,
next month.
absolutely.
And then the other update too, because I've still seen it there for a long time now, is on 7th Street. There is a tree, like it's like the only tree like on the right hand side when you're going like down 7th. Behind that tree is like some makeshift like building on wheels or something. And it's just been there. Someone's in there habitating it, but I don't understand why no one's ever gotten rid of that thing there.
That that
Shack,
shack,
whatever.
yeah, it actually was towed from behind the pilot when there was a vacant lot that was not fenced off. Not sure how he got it back out, but he did, and ended up now he's on the 7th Street. So we'll be sure to address it, and he'll have to relocate. I don't think that thing can move, so we'll have to tow it. Something we could coordinate with the
But
deputies
even
on.
if it can't be, I mean, even if he can't move it, that's not where it should be. 'Cause
Right.
if it was a vehicle that was like, how we've had, you guys have towed vehicles that were unoperable because they're not where they're supposed to be. I don't see why that is not the same issue there. Like,
Yeah,
even if you can't move it.
we'll get him out of there.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes. Yes, the Earth Day cleanup.
It'll be on April 25th. Location to be determined, but we'll go ahead and share details next MAC meeting. More than yeah, the dumping will be at Kessler, and then the community cleanup, that's the pending location.
Want to, first of all, thank you very much. I heard her say about the pallets at a residence. There was another issue that was reported 2 meetings ago about the water heaters at a residence. And thank you very much for addressing those issues. Those are a plus because the residents in the area asked me to give you that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And secondly is the San Bernardino and Cedar corner, San Bernardino Avenue and Cedar. I believe there was something with the permits that stopped the shopping center from being built. Have we heard anything about that? You don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, code enforcement. I'm coming. The weeds, because it's still at a pause. The weeds are probably almost up to my knees now. So it's a safety hazard, and we still have those vendors there Friday, Saturday,
right.
and Sunday. So
Okay. Yeah, we could refer it to our weed abatement team.
thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
Pick up
Oh,
all the
absolutely.
tires.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then also I noticed on Valley by the wrought iron fence, I had seen y'all leaving one day that you picked up all that trash that was there
Yeah.
where they parked those big rigs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the cleanup. When I went by, I saw you and I called Teresa. I said, "Oh, they cleaned it."
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you. I live close by this, so I'm going up and down.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
And we don't have anyone from Colton Joint Unified School District. So county fire. No county fire? No county. Wait, where are they? Oh, he's here. All right. He's like, is it my turn? Come on, Sheriff. Sheriff's Department.
Well, good evening. Julius McChristian, captain of the Fontana Station. Thank you for having us again tonight. We don't have much to report, but I did, like I said last month, I wanted to bring in some staff that has some assignment changes. The first one I want to introduce, we have Deputy Cyber Valencia. She's going to be the new Bloomington deputy, along her partner, Deputy Garcia. Her partner, you guys already know, has already been here. He's been in assignment for a while, but she's been assigned now for about 2 weeks. So we want to welcome her to the community of Bloomington. And I talked about our multiple enforcement team last month. We did activate that team. We have 2 members of that team. One of them is Deputy Nick Nunez here in the green shirt. And his partner is Deputy Modesto Garcia. They have been up and running now for 2 going on 3 weeks, I believe. They are going to be pretty much, we call them our felony car, but what they do is proactivity within the community. You guys will see them dressed the way he is dressed in the green shirt and black pants. He is a deputy sheriff. You guys can tell by the uniform there. His assignment pretty much is to deal with the serious crimes, felony crimes, and those subjects who are committing those serious crimes are causing more victims within the community. They don't really take calls for service. They do more proactivity type of assignments, but they do answer calls for service when we need assistance. I'll go that route. Okay. I do have a story to share with you guys. So our Lieutenant Mark Ramirez, his parents are former residents of Bloomington. They've moved out the community, but they still drive through the community several times. So they're very complimentary about the work that has been done within the community. Just yesterday, they were in the office and they were giving us compliments about how much the community has changed, how much better it looks. And they are really, really proud of being members of, the city of Bloomington. I want to say thank you to you guys, everyone who works behind the curtains for the city of Bloomington. You guys are doing a good job, and I want to give you guys a compliment as well. No problem. Along with that, I want to say that the last point I'll make is our deputies who work in the community. I can talk them up, but I want you guys to know that, our staff assigned to the area are proud to work in the area. They may not seem like they are happy. They may not seem like they really have your back because sometimes they're dealing with things that are just things that most people don't want to deal with. But I want you guys to know that they are proud to work in the area. They are happy to be in the area. If you guys see them, please just give them a wave, give them a honk, show a sign of appreciation because we do appreciate what they do. And I want you guys to know that they appreciate you as well. Outside of that, I have nothing else to report. I am open for any questions that you may have.
Don't have any questions, just comments. You guys have done a fantastic things in Bloomington, and we're very happy to have all of you guys here. You guys are a fantastic team, not just on the street, but also within the community, participating in community events, getting out there, reaching out to the community. It's been nice to see the presence and the changes that we've seen, from your standpoint, actually. I remember, what was it, like 5 years ago when we were approached, and you know, I feel like it's been something pretty special with the sheriff's department, and the Bloomington community. It's nice to see, like at National Night Out, everybody participating, having a good time, interacting with each other. There's a different sense of a relationship now where people are more apt and willing to come up and talk to you at events and even in the meetings, and I think that's really wonderful because a long time ago it wasn't like that. So you guys actually have done a lot of work yourselves as well. So we thank you for that because we couldn't do things without having the support from you guys. I remember before it was, and no disrespect, but it was kind of a joke like, oh, no one's ever going to come, call the sheriff, who cares? And you don't hear that anymore. And that's really nice, and you see people you see the response now, the seriousness of we pick up that phone and we know someone's going to come, where it wasn't like that before. And that took a lot of work on your guys' part too, so thank you for that. And, we thank you for what you guys do and we pray for your safety. And we do truly appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you. We appreciate you guys.
Er, Big hand, some great tasting water, guys. I mean, that's. Let me tell you, I never really don't think I really before I met you guys really realized there was a difference in water until I tasted your water, and then I was like, what have I been missing? Big difference. Good job, guys.
We certainly want to continue that type of service to you. And I need to acknowledge that our president, President Calvin Moore, is here in the audience tonight. And for our president to come down here is a big thrill for us to be in the room and our former president as well. So we really enjoy coming to the MAC. I only have one thing tonight. And I want to mention that West Valley Water District offers a scholarship to kids who go to school in our water district or live in our water district. I've shared some of the information with Angela as well. And to meet the requirements is you have to be a senior in high school. You have to attend a school in West Valley Water District's area or going to attend, have a GPA of 2.5, and are planning to attend a college or vocational school. It doesn't matter. But it's $1,000 scholarships, and we encourage all kids to please apply. We would love to have, the more kids that apply, the higher we put out more scholarships. I think last year we did 3 or 4, I think it was. And we're looking forward to bring that number up. But $1,000 is pretty good for books and things. And I know for me, when I went to X-ray school, it was like $500 for books. And I was like, wow, so hopefully we can offer that to our community members, okay? And that's all I had to say. Thank you.
And if I may, I also would like to just note that Mr. Calvin Moore is also a commissioner for the 5th District. He's our behavioral health commissioner. So thank you, Commissioner Moore.
Oh, thank you. Double duty there, huh? Yeah, that's great. Great. All right, we're going to start with our informational presentation. First, we're going to bring up Bob regarding our Bloomington roadwork improvement update. Bob, thank you for your faithfulness. We appreciate you, Bob.
Thank you. Next slide. Next slide. There you go. Locust has been closed for a while, and it's going to open in about a month and a half. If you flip to the next slide, you can see it's been paved for a while, and there's just poles there. Those poles are going to start to move in about a month. It's going to take a couple of months for them to move. But when we open it in about a month and a half, you're going to have 2 lanes, not 4. This is going to take Edison a while to move those poles. So that's going to be the thing that's held us up was the intersection on Locust and Europa. It was closed for a long time. Another project hit some snags in there and didn't allow us to get in there. So we'll be working in that intersection fairly soon, and that's going to allow us to open up Locust in 2 lanes. If you flip to the next slide, it's Europa. And so also, as soon as that intersection's done, we're going to have a couple of lanes going all the way through on Europa. Right now, it's closed from the park going west. And so hopefully, as soon as that intersection, we get our hands on that intersection, we start to work, we'll basically open up a couple of lanes there. Next slide. 11th Street's essentially done. I mean, there's really not much going on there. The down on the east side of 11th, there was a lift station that was built, and it's just about done. And 11th Street, later this month, we're going to kind of finish the paving there. Then the only other thing is some sidewalks that are behind the curb that exist. So really, no one's impacted, and everything's going to be open for the residents there. And once we finish the paving, they're essentially, we're essentially out of there. So that's, and then and then after we're done and we get those 2 lanes open, then Armstrong's going to get closed, and that's going to get fully done to, all 4 lanes. And that's not going to take too long because we already kind of got a jump start on it and have the curbs there. So hopefully that's going to be the last thing. And then, then after, depending on when Edison gets done, is when, and those poles move, that's when everything's going to start to open up and kind of be the final. And then there's a couple of other things on Europa once those 2 lanes. We're only going to put in 2, but it's eventually going to be 4. We have some like work on the sides to do. So it's going to be a little bit of while, but probably by the summer, these roads are going to start to get fully open. And by the end of the year, you should be just about done. The last thing that you might see is you might have like stop signs on some of the streets waiting for signal poles and things. But I mean, everything will be done. The last thing will be the signal poles going in. Anyone have any questions? We've been reaching out to all the homeowners all the time, and we haven't heard anything. So we assume everything's good. They said they're going to start March 31st, and it's going to take them about 2 months. They have to put in the new poles like behind the curb. So they put in the new poles and do all that first, and they kind of get everything ready, and then they start to like basically undo the power lines on those poles and move them to the new poles. And then sometimes companies like Frontier and Verizon, they also use those poles at the bottom for their stuff, and we have to kind of work with them to make sure they get their stuff off as well. So it's a couple of months. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's not our project, by the way. Anything on Santa Ana, that north, we're just, but it's okay. Go ahead. The report that I'm doing is basically Europa, Locust, and Armstrong, and 11th. So when we're done, those roads are going to be fully paved new and striped new, like brand new roads. But all the other roads, you know, are can't do them all. Yeah, why not? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And the horse trails. Yes. And landscaping. There's a lot of landscaping that's going to take place as well.
Bob, may I, on the tone of that question, I know that we presented that a while back, but may we request if perhaps we do a refresh of what the project will look like, the scope of it, just as a refresh for
Sure.
one of our upcoming meetings?
How would you like me to do it? You want me to bring a slide that shows
Yeah.
what the road looks
Yeah,
like?
just kind of what the scope of the work would look like, because I think some of the newer community members might be.
That's fine.
It'll be beneficial for them.
Early on, we had a slide that showed the road, what it was going to look like when it was done. So I'll just put it back in the stack for next month.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Anything else? Sure. Yeah. Our road along Locust and Armstrong has a horse trail. So it's actually, there's one, if you go a little bit further south on Armstrong, like as you get off at Valley View on the 16, you kind of come up to almost Sierra, and then you pass Sierra and there's some houses there, how that's developed. And then the road kind of narrows into like more like the industrial area. That area gets widened and the road is similar to the area in front of those houses that has the much wider road with the horse trail on the side. I'll bring the picture next time, and we can basically, it has all those accommodations on Locust and Armstrong. All right, thanks.
Up next, we have Paige Gosley. Okay. Regarding the EV project on Valley Boulevard. Welcome, Paige. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you very much. As mentioned, my name is Paige Gosley. I'm a land use attorney. I represent the property owner of the site here at 18434 Valley, Chateau Energy. They're based out of Atlanta. They're an EV charging energy company, essentially, alternative resources that identified this site, gosh, 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago. My colleague Jennifer Dorgan and I is here now as well. We've been working on it since then. Really excited to be here tonight. I want to thank you all for having us, and happy to share all the information that we can about the project, about the site. It is, I can now finally kind of acknowledge or release the site is fully leased to Tesla, who is bringing online, their construction on the manufacturing plant is just about done. An EV semi big rig charging manufacturing plant in Sparks, Nevada. It's been under construction for a number of years. It's essentially complete. Trucks are going to start rolling off the line. These are fully electric Tesla rigs are going to start rolling off the line in second quarter of 2026. And so this is actually the first dedicated semi-truck charging hub that Tesla is opening statewide, worldwide, universe-wide. This is the first of its kind. And one of the reasons that is because we were very early on in the process of taking advantage of the EV charging legislation, which some of you may or may not be familiar with. I can give some background on how that works. If you'd like, I can go through the project first, maybe, and then give some context to how the entitlement process worked with it. But so as I mentioned, this is going to be a Tesla site. They're going to control everything in the site. It will be dedicated just to charging Tesla semi rigs or semi trucks as they continue to come online, and essentially continue to replace the existing trucks that are servicing all the different industrial facilities in and around Bloomington. So it's one of the key points I want to make sure you emphasize is the project itself is not bringing new or additional trucks to Bloomington. It's supporting the infrastructure that needs to be there to provide for the electrified trucks that the state has mandated that industrial developers begin to provide. And I represent industrial developers in certain capacities, and some of them have charging facilities that they're building on site. Others just don't have those facilities available yet, and they're going to have to find ways to meet the state's demand of bringing electric trucks to replace the gas trucks that are currently servicing their sites, but having the infrastructure there to be able to charge them. And that's a lot of where this site is going to be, I think, critical, in particular because the Tesla trucks, I think, are anticipated to replace or to be kind of the front of the market EV trucks to replace all the existing gas trucks. So we're extremely excited about the project. You can see on the screen is kind of an overview that also shows a little bit of the phasing for how the site is going to come online. I'm sure some of you probably have driven by it. You've seen the site as it's kind of been coming together over the last couple of years, or last year or so primarily. The area that's shown that's in yellow yellow and green, just in green, I should say, is our phases 1 and 2. The entire site, all of the underground utilities, all the infrastructure that's necessary from Edison perspective to support the number of chargers that are ultimately going to be there, which at this point it's going to be about 92 total chargers. All of that infrastructure is in place. Edison, all the power that we're going to need ultimately to service all the trucks that are charged there is already there. The only thing that is going to be implemented over these phases that you see are the top of the line, or the surface charging facilities. Essentially the cables then, as trucks pull in, they're going to be able to hook up and charge. Maybe some of you have Teslas or electric vehicles. That's essentially as these trucks continue to populate in the area and replace the existing gas trucks, then the infrastructure and the charging facilities are going to continue to be added to meet those demands. And so phase 1 of the project is just 2 chargers, which is going to be available and energized and operational in April of this year. So about a month from now, those 2 chargers are going to be up and running. They will be servicing the pre-production Tesla EV trucks, which are the ones that they're going to be manufacturing out of this new plant, are what's called their version 4 trucks, which are the highest battery life, the most efficient, the state-of-the-art, top of the line. The first 2 that come online are going to be servicing the existing Tesla electric trucks that are out there that are ultimately going to be phased out by the new trucks that come online. And so those are going to be operational. Those 2 in green in that area right in the center will be operational in April. The facilities in yellow, that's phase 3. Phase 3 include 12 chargers. I should say, excuse me, phase 2 includes 8 chargers total. So phase 1 is 2, and then phase 2 is 6 chargers. So we've got 8 chargers total that are shown in that green area. Phase 3 are 12 chargers, which are going to be installed and operational by November of this year, we're anticipating. As the trucks come out and roll off the assembly line, we're going to have those additional 12 chargers to support the additional 8 for a total of 20, essentially by the end of the year. And they'll be for sure operational and energized by January of 2027. And then the areas that are in red, which are kind of along the outside, we're going to reflect about 72 total chargers. And those are going to be installed, operational, energized, and ready to go by December of 2027 is the outside date. But realistically, Tesla and the anticipation is once the manufacturing plant really gets up and running and these trucks are getting out on the road and are beginning to replace all the existing gas trucks, that outside December 2027 date is going to get advanced. And so it's actually, we're going to have the infrastructure in place, the chargers there by September, October of 2027 to be able to meet that earlier demand, because we're anticipating that it's going to be there and they're going to want to need to have those chargers up and ready. So the 10,000 foot level really is the 92 total chargers. Really, it's tied to this plant, Tesla's plant that's been in production for a few years. That's really finally coming online. But as the need arises, as the trucks begin to replace, more and more chargers are going to come online in these different phases, and will become operational. So if you want to go to the next couple of slides, we've got some renderings that give a sense of what the site's going to look like. It's not a truck yard. It's not the kind of thing where you got a bunch of trailers crammed in. There's plenty of room for circulation. You can see the trucks pull up. The poles are essentially the charging facilities, and they pull through and then move on. And it takes about 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes to charge the new version 4s that are going to be coming. This is an over kind of head rendering. One thing I should say, the solar shades that are along the outside, as of right now, at one point they were planned to be part of the project. We didn't have time to update the rendering. So as of now, the solar shades on the outside are not going to be at least immediately installed. It's something that Tesla is still considering and going to be a feature potentially, but at least initially, I don't want to tell you that those are going to be there, within the next year, but it is contemplated for sure. And the color of the building apparently will be gray and not blue. There was some dispute about that, but yeah, otherwise that's what it's anticipated to look like. The building in the front is just some restrooms. I think there might be a vending machine in it. So it's really just a 30, 45 minutes while you're charging. You can come in, do what you need to do, and then get in your truck and be gone. And then I think we have one more rendering, which is really similar, that gives a sense of what the site's going to look like. Yeah, so that's really the project as a whole. There may be questions, and this isn't something that went through your traditional planning process. So if it'd be helpful just to give some context on how the project came to be. There's legislation, state adopted in 2015 and 2017, Assembly Bill 1236 and then Assembly Bill 970. The purpose of which really were to streamline the approval process for EV charging facilities, and that's everything from the charger in your garage for your Tesla to fleet storage or fleet charging, for Ubers or whatever it might be, as well as truck charging. So it covered all charging, and what it essentially did was two primary things for our purposes, I think, that are important to note. The first is it required the cities and counties to adopt their own EV charging ordinances that essentially laid out the checklist process for how, you could come in if you wanted to put a charger project together, big or small, and you could follow this ordinance process, and it laid all of that out. Most cities, most counties, San Bernardino County was very early on, adopted their ordinance and had that in place so you could move forward there. The key component in terms of the permitting of it is that it removed essentially the planning permit component of an EV charging facility. In other words, an EV charging project, as long as there wasn't any other component of it that would otherwise require a conditional use permit or some other discretionary permit. Like, for example, if our project had a convenience store that was on site, right, a 7-Eleven that was there or something like that, that's its own standalone use that would otherwise normally require some kind of permit or approval from planning. If all you were installing are EV chargers, and it's a pure EV charging project, which like this one is, or like a number of them are, you essentially bypass planning, and you go straight to building. And the building department has an objective check for this that they look at. And as long as you're meeting the criteria, kind of the objective design criteria, power criteria that they've outlined for supplying power and for meeting the demands of the charger, then the county or the city, whatever the agency is, then they have to approve that application unless they can make specific findings that the project itself is going to cause some kind of adverse, negative, public health and safety impact. So there's a caveat that an agency has to approve or deny a project like this, or like any other EV charging project, and that's only if there's a public health and safety danger that they can identify and that they can support, with findings. And so we went through that process with the county, went back and forth with planning, with the building and safety department, looked at the project, looked at all aspects of it, and ultimately the conclusion was reached was that there wasn't any basis for finding, any kind of a public health safety impact that would otherwise justify, requiring it to undergo some kind of separate approval process. And so, we didn't go to planning commission. We didn't go through a number of the planning hoops that you normally would. And the reason is because this legislation exists that allows for that streamlined approval process. And just for some context on why that was adopted, it was, the governor set out these lofty goals of having everything, be electric by 2030, and realized that in order to get there, you have to have the infrastructure to actually support it. And what developers were finding, what EV charging companies were finding, is you were going to cities and going to counties, and they didn't know how to deal with EV charging projects. They'd never seen them before. They didn't know how to analyze them. And so these projects were getting slowed and caught in the slog. And the development process is tough enough as it is. But, when you're dealing with projects that a county or a city has never seen before, then a lot of these projects weren't getting approved. The infrastructure wasn't getting built. And the governor and the state legislature, I think, realized, holy moly, we've got this goal that we've got out there that's approved, and there's no way we're going to have the infrastructure able to service it. And so that's kind of what the impetus was for that legislation, to streamline that process. So yeah, that realize I've just been speaking for quite a bit, and that's a lot of information. But if I can answer any questions that you have or that the audience has, happy to do so.
So is this not, it's similar to the truck charging station that's in Colton off of Fairway, correct? There's a truck charging station
Yes.
there as well.
I think so, except this one is going to be exclusive to Tesla trucks. I'm not sure if that one is offhand, but yeah.
So I have a couple questions. Firstly being, Valley's already a pretty significantly heavy, traffic heavy. How is this, have you guys thought of any solutions on how to tackle that, especially with this new lot of about, I don't even know how many trucks, but has that been into question on how they're going to mitigate or maybe even help the infrastructure? Because it's how many trucks, 80,000-pound trucks driving every day by the hundreds on Valley, which is already a harsh. And I understand they got a big credit grant from the government. Is there going to be any infrastructure changes?
Well, there wasn't credits or grants from the government. I think the key thing, right, is that these aren't new trucks that will be added to the trucks that are already there.
I see.
right? These are going to be replacement trucks for those gas trucks as they are essentially retired, because the facilities that are already out there, the existing industrial facilities that are already out there, have electrification obligations that they have to meet.
So it's phasing out the gas.
Phasing out the gas with the electric, and then making sure that the infrastructure is there to charge the electric.
My other concern was, I understand Tesla has some production issues sometimes. What will happen if they're not able to reach their production numbers to fulfill this project's purpose?
I mean, to the extent that that happens, which, I mean, I'll be honest, but from what I'm told, they're not anticipating that kind of a slowdown at all, that once it's open and up and running, because it's been, the Sparks, Nevada plant has been in the works for quite a while, then, you know, the phasing, I guess, or the bringing on of those different, you know, top of surface infrastructure would be delayed, because of what we don't want to have, right, is that we've got a bunch of infrastructure that's sitting out there that's not being used, or that doesn't have the Teslas able to supply it.
I guess that's just my concern. What if there was to be just an empty lot not being used? Is there gonna be any like contract changes, any new companies that might come in, or is it just completely locked to Tesla indefinitely?
No, it's locked and leased 100% to Tesla. No other entity has access to it. No other, nothing else can be done with the site.
I see.
And if I sense maybe where you're going in terms of a pivoting from all of a sudden, if Sparks goes offline, then we've got this big open lot. Then is there a potential for it to become a truck trailer storage yard or something like that?
I see.
And I can tell you that that's not the case, and that's not something that could happen, certainly without having to go through a brand new planning process and go through, you know, everything anew with the county to permit that as a standalone use.
And then two rapid fire ones. Are there any community benefit agreements that were drawn up from this? And my other question was, is our energy infrastructure able to handle these amount?
Yeah, the energy infrastructure, that's, you know, I do a lot of EV charging work in other cities and in counties as well. And the biggest difficulty that we face a lot of the time is dealing with Edison and making sure that, you know, you actually have the power that you're going to need to service the vehicles that you're anticipating that are going to be at the site. And that's not an issue here. We've actually got a substation, I think, that was built on the corner to make sure that the energy is going to be there.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's that. And then in terms of community benefit agreements, there were no community benefit agreements, and actually AB 1236 and AB 970 prohibit a lead agency or a local agency like the county from conditioning an EV charging project on imposing any kind of conditions of approval, essentially, or requiring, you know, anything beyond meeting the objective standards.
All right. Thank you so much for answering those questions.
Yeah, of course.
Apologize for the amount.
Yeah. This would be the first time. I know, I take your point 100%. I mean, I will note the moment we were asked and invited to come, we wanted to come. You know, we hadn't been asked before, but we certainly would have been more than willing to come and present, because again, we're really genuinely excited about the project. And this is, I mean, obviously Bloomington has its issues with air quality and everything that you heard about earlier, and you're more than familiar with. And this is, we believe, certainly one of those projects that's going to help improve those conditions, because it's going to bring electric trucks that are going to replace these gas-powered trucks that have been causing a lot of those air quality impacts. So, you know, from our perspective, energy and health-wise, you know, we view this as a net positive for the city, traffic notwithstanding. I understand that's an issue. But again, we're not bringing new trucks. Trucks that are already going down Valley are still going down Valley. Now they're just not gas guzzling trucks, or they're not going to be, is certainly how we look at it. But I understand your point, and I appreciate it.
Well, I look at it like this. I do appreciate you coming down. You know, we did ask the supervisor's office to have you guys come down because we did notice construction going on, wanted to know what was going on. We had no knowledge of it. I feel like that's, you know, the developer is the one that's responsible for knowing. They know, you know, that people would want to know what's going on. I kind of feel like it was a little sneakily underhanded because you guys can get around these rules and parameters because of the different legislative laws. But I want to know, you know, because you sat up here and you told us right now, like, well, they haven't dealt with a project like this. They didn't know what to expect or what to do or this and that. Well, exactly. So how do we know that you guys have been proactive enough in knowing the impact that this is really going to cause Bloomington or not? You know, the health risks, the benefits, the pros, the cons, because, you know, you're coming in saying, oh, well, these trucks are going to be helpful. Well, because you're saying that they're going to come in and they're going to charge and they're taking place of the fuel ones. Well, if that's statewide, that's not a benefit to just Bloomington, first off. And how was Bloomington selected? I mean, Bloomington's a small, like, you blink and you miss us. And this is the only project that Tesla's doing. Why was Bloomington selected? How was that? How are we the lucky ones?
Well, I think this isn't the only project that Tesla's doing. This is the first. I'm sorry, this isn't the only one. They're looking at a number of sites because they know these trucks are coming. So they're looking at a number of sites statewide and elsewhere to be able to meet this demand. I mean, I can't speak to why I wasn't involved in the, you know, selection of this site and the leasing. And, you know, we got involved at the entitlement stage of, you know, here's what the laws are, here's what needs to be done. Let's work with the county to figure out, you know, how to comply with those laws and permit the project and do what we need to do. My hunch is, in terms of why Bloomington was selected, is there's already such a robust industrial logistics, you know, warehousing industry here.
Not Bloomington, that's Fontana.
Well, in the area, and the thinking was is that, look, if there are already all of these existing facilities around that have gas trucks that are servicing them now, and the governor and the legislature has said those need to be electric by 2030, right? The infrastructure that needs to be there to charge those electric trucks when they come needs to be there, because otherwise those trucks then are charging or driving God knows where to find another EV charging facility somewhere outside the area. So I think the thinking was, and again, I wasn't involved, this is just my interpretation of it, is let's keep that charging infrastructure local so that those trucks aren't out on the freeways, aren't out on the roads, aren't further extending the impacts that they might be having to roadways and conditions, et cetera. Let's keep them in as narrow an area as possible where they already are, so that we can try and minimize those impacts. And granted, Bloomington is kind of ground zero, and that's just the fact of the industry that surrounds the area. I mean, it just kind of is what it is. And so that I think was the thinking for locating it here, but I can't say that for sure. I wasn't involved.
So what things were done to, what work was done to check and look into to make sure it wasn't going to negatively impact Bloomington, whether it be the community itself or the actual surrounding area that, you know, see, because I'm not just talking, you know, yeah, we're talking about the environment as well, but we also don't have any idea where you put that project at, because if you knew what Valley Boulevard was like right now, you would know that was a very bad idea. And what are you guys going to do? You have the entrance and the exit coming out of Valley Boulevard. So now now you're backing up the traffic even more than it already is. It's already backed up. We just had a discussion about how right now we're having issues because the bridge is closed. Once that bridge is open, that's not going to really help. We've already seen it wasn't helpful on Sierra. It was even worse once that bridge was widened as well. So now we're going to be dealing with all these trucks coming in and out, idling, trying to run those lights, trying to get on. Valley Boulevard is a very, very small area. You know, there's not room for all these trucks. There's no capability to have all these trucks backing up our bridge right now as it currently is. So what is this company going to do to make sure that those trucks are flowing in and out? Because now you are impacting Bloomington. You are in a negative way. It's not a positive way. Nobody thinks this is a positive project right now. Unfortunately. I mean, I'm just being realistic with you.
No, I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your candor. I mean, that's certainly information that I would pass along to Chateau and to Tesla. I mean, Tesla's going to be operating the site, so it'll be their drivers, right, that are coming in and out and that are charging. And I mean, Tesla certainly has a reputation, international, national, that I think it would want to keep as a positive and want to be, or at least try to be, a net positive to the community to the extent that it can. So, I mean,
there's not really any benefit that Tesla is doing because they're putting their name in Bloomington. I mean, like you said, they can't do community benefits. So what they're doing is they're just bringing a bunch of trucks into Bloomington, and that is not positive.
Well, again, I would say they're not bringing any new trucks into Bloomington. They're replacing existing gas guzzling, air quality impacting trucks and replacing those.
Well, they're bringing in new trucks when those trucks are coming to charge here now when they weren't coming to charge here previously. So they are bringing more trucks in here.
I take your point.
So what steps were taken to make sure that there any environmental reports done, any studies done, anything like that? Or, you know, the state legislature just said, hey, go ahead, we need you, so go ahead and build.
There was not, because it's an administrative approval, it's a ministerial approval. And under CEQA, California Environmental Quality Act, ministerial approvals are exempt from CEQA. So there's no obligation, there's no responsibility to do any kind of environmental analysis because they're exempt projects. And so that there wasn't any of that analysis done.
So then you, because you said, well, as long as they don't find that we're doing anything negative here, so who's that? Who did you guys go to make sure there was no negative impact?
Well, that's a determination that the county can make in terms of the county building official can make in terms of whether or not a project, an EV charging project, should or should not be approved. If it meets otherwise the objective criteria for approval and the infrastructure is there and everything else from a building perspective is there, then absent some evidence that that infrastructure or that project is going to create a public health safety impact, then they have to make strict findings in order to deny it on those grounds. And the county didn't. We went back and forth with the county on that issue, and there wasn't any grounds.
So was there some potential issues? Is that why you were going back and forth, or they just said that we're okay with it?
No, they understood that that was an obligation and a responsibility that they had in terms of looking at that to evaluate whether or not there were potential health safety, public health safety impacts that would be caused by the project. And they looked at it and we gave them all the information that we could provide that they asked for. And that's what I mean when I say back and forth in terms of, you know, us providing whatever information we can to help them make that determination. And their determination was that we wouldn't, and we met all the otherwise objective criteria. And so the project was approved.
Oh, you want
I think it's about 30 to 45 minutes is what they're anticipating.
how long?
Hour to charge a Tesla truck. If you do a truck every hour, that's 9 hours a day, 9 trucks like that. There are 200 trucks a day that are not replacing gas trucks in our community. The infrastructure is not built. It's not replacing trucks. The gas trucks are not going to go in the parking because the charging is well, the people in this community aren't going to afford the $500,000 Tesla truck to replace their gas trucks that run just fine. They're still deep. So now that we have a bridge that we can't get done, you're at 200 trucks to our area. We have no means of getting to that state, in my opinion. Okay? Number two, same thing I said before about our bridge. Why did Tesla choose this site? Why would they approve our site without our county? We're not the city. They don't care about the county or other places. That's where we have to stand with the fight. Because I'll tell you right now, based on the land size, per capita and per building, Montana, British Columbia, and Ontario have 10 times the amount of warehouses and truck meets than Bloomington. Why did you build here? Because we're not a city. The city can stop you, the county won't, the county wants to tax you. It's all about the money that might be. You guys don't, they don't care about it, you know? To be honest with you right now, this truck route is proposing.
I'm not proposing it.
Warehouses that are built in Bloomington don't have a truck route to get to. Why are you gonna build a warehouse if you can't get to them? Why? Because they're not gonna control our roads, the trucks are gonna drive there anyway, because we have no enforcement. You know, that's why the festival is here. That's why they're allowed to build without limiting us, because we're county, not city, they don't share with the county. And that's where we're gonna start standing up, standing around fighting against this. It's not right. It's not fair to
So I got a couple of questions. So land use and for transportation told us that Valley Boulevard, unless you got this and you ran trucks out of it, they would still be able to use it. There's nothing wrong with what you're bringing, but that is great for cars. It is great for standard and trucks. But our issue is the papers. Because we were told on one of our last meetings, when they came to talk about the truck route, that Cedar and that Valley Boulevard was going to be changed. Now, have you gone and talked to Fontana with the Sierra, with the on and off ramps there? Because this is going to be entrance on the westbound side of Valley Boulevard. And so they're going to pull out because we have the island in the middle. Are you putting a signal right there? Because from Alder, all the way to Sierra, it will be closed off for trucking. So, due to the fact that my husband and I, truck drivers, we know you're either going to have to go up Alder, or you're going to go down Alder. Well, when you go down on Alder, you're going to have to turn around the loop, which is Taylor Avenue. That street is less than 25 feet across. And right now, we have 5 truck yards there. We finally got rid of one, and we still are having trouble getting into our residential homes. So if you're blocked with the bakery to get on to passing Alder, where are you going to put all those bricks? Because the one that you have over in San Bernardino, that is a route to get on and off the grid. Most of the other sites that you guys are building have access, still availability for big rigs. But we were told, and that would be something for Joe's office to check into, did land use lie to us? Did the supervisor lie to you and just push this through, which they have done multiple times to both business owners, corporates, and to us? This is why everybody here, you feel like you're being attacked right now. We're not intentionally doing this, but this is what's been happening to us as a whole with everything. And we all decided, like a year, 2 years ago, that we had, and we're putting our foot forward. Gary Bosnick was at that meeting that you were there, and as they tried pushing it through. So,
Roxanne, I'm not trying to cut you off because I do completely understand what you are doing. But I do also have to respect that effort of time. So if you have a question, or comment, can you please get to that because I do need to move on, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
It will be 24 hours, yes. No, there is security. There is a security gate, and there will be an employee on site.
Joaquin?
I grew up in California. Yes, I live locally.
So did you know, especially in the summertime, we have our flex load,
Yeah.
right? And so my question is now these Tesla charging stations, where do they, first of all, where do they put their energy, right? And I think you said that it's all really run through, that it's not going to be an impact. Well, just so you know, people that own EV vehicles that have the charging stations at their home, they're even warned on these flex days when it's so hot that they're worried that there's going to be too much strain on their grids. They get told not to charge your cars. So how is that going to work out when you guys are going to be doing that? Now, are you pulling from the same grids that are residential?
So as part of our back and forth, and I think it would be, I'd be speaking out of school if I tried to answer exactly how that process would work with Edison. That's, I think, more of an Edison question. But part of our back and forth with Edison and making sure that we had adequate power to service the site was in constructing a substation on the side on a corner there so that we weren't pulling from the rest of the grid and otherwise draining that. One of the conditions from Edison in order to allow the project to move forward essentially was to construct a substation on the property that would help generate that. I don't know. I can't say how that might impact. Essentially like a, and again, I'm not a power expert, I guess, but it's almost like a mini type of power plant or module, right? That would, instead of having power generated here and then just being strung out over lines through a long distance, that it would almost be like a power storage generating hub that would have more power there that could then go out locally as opposed to down the line. But that would be something, that's part of the struggle with Edison on a lot of EV projects is just, there's not enough power to be able to service them. And we were fortunate.
My question is, the county is trying to look for that to revitalize that water, and make it like something that we do like, something nice for Bloomington. If you talk to the county about this, is there plans supposed to be part of that?
No, we weren't involved in any Valley Boulevard kind of improvement or beautification, any kind of discussion about that. That wasn't a discussion that we had.
I'd like to make a point of clarification, just for your knowledge. One of the things he mentioned was this came from a state law.
Yes.
Ministerial right. And that means no one had any say.
Yes.
It's not a county issue, it's not a city issue.
No.
Take that, you can go to any town, any place, anywhere, put it in, no one in the city, county, because it's state law, and in that state law, they said ministerial right.
And they can't condition, like they can't impose a condition of approval. I mean, the law, the government code especially precludes, says you can't impose conditions on the project.
At least if we would have been addressed beforehand, maybe we could, and been respected enough to bring up potential causes of concern or, bring anything that we had to the table to maybe open the eyes of the developer as well as maybe things that maybe the state legislature maybe did not think about, because what's good for one city is not maybe good for a small town. So I completely understand the necessity of it. I do. I just don't feel like this was the proper place for it. Because it is going to negatively impact our residents. And we've been fighting tooth and nail already over these issues with Cedar and Valley for I don't even know how long, and it isn't any disrespect to you. I think
No,
it
of
is
course.
a great project that is needed. It's just not needed.
Is there some
So Chateau Energy is the owner of the property and they've leased it to Tesla. Correct. Yeah. And in terms of a file, I mean, you can submit a Public Records Act request to the county for everything related to the site. That certainly is an obligation the county has to produce documents. But again, because it was a ministerial approval, there weren't environmental analyses done. You can certainly submit the request. I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of information there, frankly, because it wasn't required and state law prevents the county from demanding it. I think we first got involved in early 2023, and then the approval was in the end of early 2024, late 2023. No. No, this has nothing to do with Bloomington Business Park. Well, depending to the extent that they purchase and implement Tesla vehicles as part of their fleets, then they'll certainly be able to come and charge at the Tesla facility. I have represented Howard Industrial, yes. Tesla. It's a Tesla facility. So I don't know. I don't know. That's a Tesla question. I don't know who Tesla has agreements with facilities to be able to use it. I don't have that information.
With all due respect, I have a couple of questions. The exit to your Tesla facility is definitely Cedar. Is that my understanding?
And it's on
Valley
Valley.
and Cedar. I mean Valley and Linden. Okay. And how many? I haven't seen the site. This is new to me. So, how many square feet is it? I mean, how big is it?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't remember how big. I want to say it's like it's under 5 acres. I think it's like 3 or 4 acres.
Okay, 4 acres. Okay. So the property that you're building this on was it an empty lot when you started to build those on there?
I think it was. But it was largely vacant, yeah, if I remember correctly.
Okay, that was my only question.
Will you be at the Planning Commission meeting for San Bernardino tomorrow, or any county meetings coming up soon?
No, I wasn't planning. Usually if I'm attending, it's because I have a project or a client that I'm there for. But no, I wasn't planning.
Okay, no worries. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate the communication.
No, 100%. I'm happy. Thank you for having us. And frankly, I wish you had come earlier. I truly appreciate your concerns about that. And,
Do you happen to have a card by chance?
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I think Jessica has my contact information as well.
I've been around this town all my life. And I have never seen anything. You guys are talking the right thing, but what happened in our town, board of supervisors and the land use people are the problem. Okay? Now, we need to know where we're going to get some money or something to help us pay for our police department that's down here now, that we had to go out and get. Or what they doing for us? What are they gonna do for us? Are they gonna repair our streets all over the place? Are they gonna help do this? What are they gonna do for us? I mean, they're gonna get so much money, so much electricity coming in there. How much, I don't know what it is. The federal government's gotta pay so much money. Something's gotta be going. Where's that money going? To the government, and it's not coming home. It's not coming home. We don't benefit that.
I do appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, Jessica. Paige, sir, I just want you to understand it is nothing personal. We do have people that are very passionate about Bloomington, love Bloomington, and unfortunately, we're disappointed when some things get by the wayside, and I think sometimes it shows. And so I do apologize, but it was nothing directed to you. But thank you because you handled everything very nicely. Appreciate it.
Good evening, MAC members. Me again. I just want to make a presentation. Oh, can you hear me? Yeah. It's a presentation, it's an inquiry. Our office was approached on the naming of fields 3 and 4 at Kessler Park. One of them as a volunteer or challenger field, and the other one as after Mr. Robolt, who, as you know, is a prominent figure in Bloomington. We just want to make sure that we get any input from either the MAC board or any community members that are present. So background or anything you'd like to share, and then any feedback they may have. Wanted to note that this was something that we were approached with.
As you know, I have said that I do believe Mr. Robolt does definitely deserve some recognition. He has been a staple with not only the league but the community, and continues to be. He's a phenomenal person. So I completely, wholeheartedly would support that, and I know there's a lot of people that would. Yes. As far as the other field, whether it be volunteer or challenger, I would say right now at this point, I would kind of hold off on that. I mean, as far as the challenger, because I know they have had decline in the challengers, and they are more kind of going with Fontana, I was told. So although I do think they are a very special part of the league and everything, I don't know that that program is continuing with Kessler, but that would not be for me to tell you. But that's what I have heard. And or maybe like, yeah, something to the volunteers. I would love to see something, maybe not with naming the field, but the brick inlays that are in the little diamond area. I would love if maybe we could do buy a brick type of thing, and have your name engraved if you were a volunteer, you know, um, as a special thing to those people that wholeheartedly did volunteer in that league. Because as you know, it takes a lot of people, and nobody can run that league without volunteers. So I think that would be something that would be kind of cute to do if so, but that's just my opinion.
Anyone else have any other comments? Thank you. That's actually the brick idea. I did it in high school. I actually have a brick at my high school that I forgot about, but thank you. Does anybody else have anything? Yes, go ahead.
When I would have an arena there years ago that had lights, and our county tore them down, and our county was supposed to replace them, and they still have not replaced them, and it's been about 25, maybe 30 years. Okay? There is stuff, the electricity in my building now is gone again, because somebody keeps leaving it. We need to do something to help the whole park out. I'm not just seeing the baseball behind me. Guys, I have full
To do the lights.
are at Glen Avenue. They've been there for at least 30 years.
Perfect.
When they tore it down. And I can't have nice fun without
And just so you know, a lot of the things that have come to Kessler have been grants that are specific to certain things like youth sports. So that's why some of that money was directed towards the league, was because it was for youth sports. And I do know that there are some things that were done with Kessler because it was just brought up. So maybe you need to be a little bit more active with the supervisor's office, explaining like, this is what's going on, and the things that happen at, the arena, a lot of the things that happened at Kessler happened because of the volunteers there. So maybe, I don't know, with your Valley Riders or stuff, we can get people to help out and volunteer to do that, because there was a point in time for many years, which is why Mark is so deserving, where there was no county agencies, and Mark would mow the lawn and trim the weeds and all that stuff, Mhm.
I got a call the other day from our director. doing it because the county's asking for personal liability from each and every person that walks on my side. Okay? That is wrong because that's the county's side. That belongs to the county, that belongs to the people. But
If you are holding festivities there, you are responsible for that.
we gotta release the liability.
Then I think at that point, you have to either have someone on site overseeing your arena, or you have to find a way to close it off and it's only utilized when it's open, because Angela has to have insurance for her things. The Little League has to have insurance for their things. It's not covered by the county because of the agency and the events that you do. There is a difference with that.
We have to do the same thing.
Mhm.
Bob earned the water, every bill. Now he has to release the liability from Bob. Now why? That's my water, he don't donate it to me. And a volunteer,
If he's on county property and something happens, he needs that release. That's why.
we haven't had for years. Why now?
Well, because you know what? Sometimes either the rules change or sometimes people just aren't aware of something they were supposed to be doing.
We were told last summer when he came and told us of all of the upcoming events and things that were being done at Kessler, plus up here, that there were new plans that were being
The master plan for Kessler, I'll make sure to have Aaron represent on that because I know that it shows the different upgrades that they're wanting to do. So, and I'll connect with you as well, Jane, or Dave, so that I can talk to you about it. Go ahead, Joaquin. It's for the renaming of fields 3 and 4. So one would be in either a challenger field or volunteer field, and the other one for Mr. Mark Rubel for the Little League.
He's responsible for it. Wholeheartedly support the field founder and also the volunteer field because it honors the many people that have this volunteer time. That's why I think the Brits. So, yeah, their needs there.
Yeah. No.
The volunteer field, I think, is good. It honors everybody.
Everyone that volunteers. Thank you. We appreciate it. I'll continue this conversation during other meetings, but we do appreciate it. And if anybody else has any other feedback, please feel free to let us know. Yeah, go aheed.
We were certain people at the Little League too also that are not business park developers really love the neighborhood to keep vandals and certain things.
Thank you so much.
It's been fun, guys. All right. Approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for February 4th meeting? And a second? Yvonne seconds. Public comment, fun part. Guys, we got some comments today. All right. 3 minutes. I gotta stick you guys to it because you know what? We gotta be out of here soon. All right. First up, Dave. These boots were made for. Did you get on his little statue? Thank you, Paige. Drive safe. Don't be. Do it. Don't. Are you letting them steal my candy? My candy? Can you talk into the mic, Dave? Sorry. Can you talk into the mic? It's kind of hard to hear you.
Right, let's see how. Does that work? Anyway, we have a handicap show for the special need kids, and it's on Saturday, the 28th, at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to have an Easter egg hunt, so we'd like to have all of you show up and come out and help. And like I said, I just don't. I understand the rules, but it's just like this park right here. If he's asking me to sign a release of liability when I drive through this park, there better be a booth out there for me to sign a release of liability. That's just the way I feel about it. Because all these people around here live over by Alder. They don't even live in Bloomington. They come to the park because it's a nice park. And I just get upset because it makes me feel that we're not wanted.
Don't think that, Dave.
We're not wanted here. There's a lot of stuff out there that makes me look bad. Makes us all look bad. But anyway, I just wanted to invite all of you. Starts at 10 o'clock, free lunch, and the clampers are feeding us lunch. Water company's giving us water. But you guys can come out and watch the kids on Easter eggs. It's always a fun event. We had 250 there last year. So. All right. And I'm not gonna use the soccer field. We're gonna put eggs in the arena. So, because I got told about that too by public that we use their stuff, the soccer people. And I don't know why. I've never bothered anybody. I've asked them to use it, and they told me that this is just the public. It ain't nobody that's high brass. It's just people commenting, why do you got to use our soccer? I thought it was a county property. So, all right. Kessler Park at the horse arena. Everybody should know where that's at.
Dave, just so you know that because when I do events and if I do them here, so I've had to add this address, this site to my insurance as well. So
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that, but
so I'm covered on if anything.
I don't understand because we pay taxes. Every single one of us pay taxes. We should not be paying anything or even signing anything. I mean, if you're that bad at suing somebody for using their property, when they walk on your property and just sell you something, you're going to ask them for release liability walking on your property? Come on. That ain't right. Guys, it ain't right.
Thank you, Dave. We look forward to seeing you on Easter. All right. Up next, Rich. Rich? Is it Rich? Cirani, C-I-R, oh, is it Ruth?
Address 10815 Cactus.
Okay. He was just gonna talk about road improvements. Road improvements, on Slover, east and west of Cactus. All right. Miguel.
Hello? Is this on? Yeah? Cool.
Can you hear me now? Just kidding.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening, MAC members. Quite a crazy amount of developments today. And I had something prepared, but I just want to say that I've started to be more active in the community only for a few years now. I only just got out of college. So it's been interesting to see how the system works and to kind of learn the ropes. I suppose that my concern here is obviously how the MAC itself reaches out to the community, but not just the MAC, like the whole system, right? The county. And I just think there's that missing piece of very public communication, right? I think it's a great effort to do the social media side. I think that has helped bridge this gap. And I brought it up before, but I think we could do more to kind of bridge that gap in communication. I personally really like the flyers in the restroom. I see them all the time. But yeah, efforts like that breach that communication, especially in part because of situations like the one that we now find ourselves in, where because we're not a city, the county has more say on what happens to Bloomington lands and territories, lands, I suppose. Which is why I bring up this concern that maybe we should, y'all as the Bloomington MAC should kind of invite Joe Baca Jr. to just kind of come see what's happening and how we feel about this, because it could provide us with that exposure, with that additional exposure of that one-on-one interaction, especially with the most recent development that occurred that kind of brought Joe Baca and more precisely the county into light. If you haven't seen the news for February 10th, Paris's Paris Council's meeting where, Howard Industries spoke for a new warehouse development project there and stated that it was the county's idea to bring Bloomington Business Park to Bloomington, and not just to bring it there, but to make it even bigger than the original plan proposal, which kind of puts the county and the five supervisors in a very interesting spotlight with this most recent development now with the Tesla property. Two projects that very clearly demonstrate what Bloomington is being used for. And I haven't had the opportunity to go through the planning, the original master plan, but I will. And I'm interested in seeing what discrepancies there are between what the plan originally was and what it is now. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. I did see it. Efren Press.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm going to be pretty short, because a lot of the things that I was going to say or ask for, the code enforcement and the sheriff addressed already. But also I just want to say that I wish that Bloomington was coming more together. especially, well, we're bringing it together with us and our group. But if you have anybody that you know, have them come so we have more people interested in Bloomington. And we're trying to continue to make progress. And I will be talking to the code enforcement because it's like people are taking Bloomington like a dump, especially on Slover and on the side streets. It bothers me because they say, oh, there's a tire there, there's two over there, there's four over there. So just to clean it up and stuff. But thank you very much.
Thank you. And then, Efren, just so you know, there should be a flyer back there that has numbers to call. Like if you do see that. Okay, yeah. Perfect. Great. Thank you, sweetie. I can't say your name. How do you say your name, sweetie?
My first name is Xochitl. The X sounds like an S.
Okay,
Xochitl.
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure. So I was like,
Good evening. My name is Xochitl Pedraza. I live in Bloomington. So short story, my husband and I were coming to the IE area for many years before we decided to move to this area. We fell in love with the landscape, the rural atmosphere, the greenery, and the calm of some of the cities around. And took us our time to look for the property where we can have some farm animals and grow our food. At a small scale, of course, but something that we can feel in touch with nature. We found our home, and then since then, we gradually have seen the change that development or progress has brought to our area. Since the rezoning of acres and acres of land in Bloomington, the community has changed. It has been divided and basically decimated and completely ignored because many of us opposed and protested and no one listened. As they mentioned before, the Board of Supervisors voted against the community, and then it kind of made it sound like the developers proposed the business park, and then we find out that literally they're the ones that looked for Howard developers and wanted to have the warehouses right in the middle of, and demolish so many houses and even make it bigger. So there's your answer that how come Bloomington gets selected. The gentleman left already, but he even mentioned like Bloomington is ground zero. And this is what is for them, it's just land. Even as we ask, and a lot of people protested at the time, I wasn't aware, but we need to Mr. Bacas. We are his constituents and we deserve to be heard, and we want to have Mr. Bacas' attention. Of course, the Kessler Park and all the efforts and all the good things that the park brings, but that's kind of like the only highlight that he seems to be interested. All of us need to be seen as the residents that we are, and especially South Bloomington, we have no businesses, no green parks. We have Kessler, but we need more in between the school that hopefully doesn't get moved and the park. We need more green spaces. The equestrian area needs to be modernized. So a lot of businesses will bring more money. And then another thing that we have against us is that our revenue doesn't get protected. That's what we need to have. The revenue that Bloomington brings should stay at Bloomington. I know that it works the way it works because we're incorporated, but everybody that votes and who of the supervisors live in Bloomington? Nobody lives in Bloomington and they don't know what it is, especially South Bloomington. And that's what we need to have. The people that lives or is affected from the 5th district should the ones have the vote, and they have to me, sorry, that's it.
Well, I pronounce it Tanya. Yeah. But yeah. All right. My name is Tanya. I'm with the People's Collective for Environmental Justice. I'm just here today to uplift the comments of the residents. I think I've been very transparent. I'm not a resident from Bloomington, but I have gotten to know a lot of wonderful people here. I have gotten to know a lot of the wonderful landscape from Bloomington and the beautiful culture and livelihood that this um, town has. So yeah, I'm just asking, as most of the people here today, that they get listened to. Um, I think today was a very big example and a very big eye opener to a lot of folks that yeah, Bloomington gets chosen a lot of the times because it's not incorporated, but that shouldn't be the case. Joe Baca, as the representative of Bloomington, should be sticking up for his constituents like other supervisors do. There's other supervisors who have said it during their meetings that they don't want certain things in their community, so then they push it to Bloomington. So I don't think that's fair for that to be done. Bloomington does has a beautiful culture, beautiful, Kessler Park is so beautiful, the mountains, you can see the mountains from here. Sadly, not as much because of all the warehousing coming in, but I think as a representative, he needs to be listening to his constituents and not just when it comes to having a photo op or not just when it comes to going to Kessler Park and watching the baseball games. That's great that he wants to get involved in that way and he cares so much about that. But at the same time, that's not the only thing that should be his priority. He should be sticking up for his constituents as well at the county level. I know the first time for the Bloomington Business Park, he voted yes. And the second time he voted no. I have my ideas on that because elections were coming up the second time that it was voted on. So I think he shouldn't just wait until it's election time. I think he should do it every time.
Thank you, Tanya. Okay, and now Roxanne. Absolutely, Roxanne.
Couple of things. First thing is 4-H. I didn't get here to make sure that everybody got a copy, but I have things for the 4-H, for new memberships, and some bill wish lists. They're starting to get a little bit of new things in, but there's still a lot of stuff that they need help with on. I believe starting next month, all the meetings will be done at the park at the common there. So if you have any children or grandchildren that would be interested in learning the life cycle of everything that's animal, please come. The date and time of the meeting. The meeting, I believe it's 2:00. We're meeting today at 7 o'clock, whenever was available at the place, and I have not been there tomorrow, but I believe it's 6 o'clock, that meeting over at first Tuesday. First Tuesday of the month. And then you come here and talk about everything. So, another thing, the boss's office, please, 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 find out who is in charge of that law, and please invite them to come and tell us when they're going to start it. As of this past week, my son and I had to help repair 6 more poles, freeway side, to elderly neighbors who are unable to do this. I just found out that I now have another neighbor who is absolutely refusing to go in her backyard because of homelessness coming in her backyard. Me, I had 3 minutes on my and my son has literally been pulled up and sent to the hospital over it while trying to figure out why my dogs are working at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not the guys, but this electric thing. A lot of people don't realize that our supervisors push those things. And I'm constantly reminded in my head of one time, one of them was gone and left her mic open. And she more or less said, Bloomington should be humble for what it is we get.
Dan? Jasmine?
Hey guys, my name is Jasmine. I just wrote something. I've been living in Bloomington for about 10 to 12 years now, and only recently have I noticed how the county and surrounding cities take advantage of us because we're not a city. Funds are not there for us like they should be. I want us to keep pushing for more information on the warehouses. I'm not sure if anybody here is for the warehouses being built, but they're not really going to add any value to Bloomington or the community. Definitely won't add any value to our lives. The warehouses would just bring more pollution, traffic, etc. You know the deal, guys. What would be beneficial is a grocery store, pharmacy, senior center, cooling center, another park out there. I would like for us to start asking like harder questions, like who's pushing for the warehouses? Is Joe Baca for or against them? There's definitely powers and numbers, and I think we should at least make sure Bloomington has a future. We don't want to end up like the prairie dogs. Bloomington deserves to thrive without warehouses. Thank you.
All right, Joaquin.
I wanted to play a video for you guys real quick.
And can you clarify what exactly happened, and how do you make sure that something like that will never happen in the city of Paris?
Yeah,
Briefly, yeah.
I totally appreciate that we don't want this to happen here, and so we've learned a lot. Bloomington was a general plan amendment that was driven by the county council member. We started with one building within this project, and then the board of supervisors said that they didn't want to do just one-off building development. And they asked us to embark on a larger scale project. As we embarked on that, that was a redevelop.
I just wanted to play that for you guys in case you didn't understand what those comments were about. That folks were talking about Howard saying that the county was driving for this large project. For me, it raises a lot of questions. I mean, for a long time, I was so upset about this developer targeting Bloomington, and now it comes out with this other side where the county wanted this project in the middle of a community next to an elementary school, high school, next to where the kids play Little League, the park. I just wanted to show you guys, but I came here to talk today about Edison and the lack of infrastructure or modern infrastructure that we have, especially in South Bloomington, especially like below Jurupa. We experience outages all the time, and they're not something that is easy to go through, and something that hurts our families, and it's just something that we shouldn't go through in the big 2026. Like why don't we have a modern system that could support our communities? I don't see this happening in Southridge or Rialto or in other places, but it happens in Bloomington. And there's a specific instance that I wanted to bring up to the MAC and the county. On January 2nd, there was a power outage that was not planned. It was a equipment failure, and it happened, right? Like I'm pretty sure it was equipment failure. Like the lights were flickering on and off, and then it just shut off. And I got affected by it, but folks in the area, the southeastern corner, where they're surrounded by warehouses, between El Ravino and Cactus, they have a lot of damage to their electrical outlets. They have to replace fridges, TVs, ACs. You could go and ask them. Like they really suffered a lot of damages. And Edison has not responded at all. They submitted a claim, no response. I talked to the lady right now. She has no idea what I'm talking about, and they're trying to like not be responsible for it. And I think that's really upsetting. And I just would like the county to do something about it, to help those residents. I could set up a meeting. A lot of them have gotten hundreds of dollars in damages, and they need some type of reimbursements. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joaquin. All right, up next, Patricia Silva.
Well, I have to say that. So the one thing that I have to say, I know one of the gentlemen said. So I brought up Walter Zimmerman. When the supervisor, and he's saying he's meeting. Well, he's not meeting with the parents of the kids that go to that school. And if we say, oh, because it's a Hispanic community, lack of, that's hogwash. Because you go up to Ruth Grimes, they're in the 6th percentile or 60 percentile testing. Okay, everybody needs to start showing up at that school board because that's here. So that person's been here. I want to talk about when you guys talk about county property. It's not a city. You guys all remember the movie Aaron Brockovich, the town of Hinckley? That was the county allowed PG&E with chromium-6 killing families, poisoning their kids. If you guys don't start paying attention, because he's one against the rest of them. We get here, goes in the general fund, and it goes to all their pet projects. They check with run up the TV station people. Okay, they actually have more. Where remember the big people were getting cancer from those, and they're saying there's no health concern. They said to Hinckley, don't start paying attention what's going on. We all these volunteers, you know what? We do it for our kids and our grandkids. You guys have been here. You guys have all grown up. My family's been here since. That's okay. Well, it's okay. It's not going to affect our electrical use. So that those hills don't burn up. Doing this, we have no sense of we're not a city. And keep on happening years and years. Fighting another thing. So you're just that they don't want us to do because they can keep on taking our land and taking the money that belongs to us here as citizens.
Thank you, Patty. Okay, guys. Let's see, where are we? All righty. So that is it for public comment. We're under discussion items. Any old business? Anybody? 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 Nobody. Okay. No old business. New business. Angela? Or, well, you can do it under 8.
Huh?
Under community events. Is that what you're
Oh,
going to
yeah,
do?
we'll do it
Okay.
under.
Any new business? Anybody? I try to make sure that I am I am the best suited person to be up here sometimes, and this affects me today. This affected me, guys. Um so I feel like sometimes, we're up here and we're hoping that we're making a difference or we're doing some good, but sometimes I feel a little disheartened by things that happen. And I don't like to be on a controversial thing, but it's just in my heart to really ask the MAC that maybe we need to write a letter to the state regarding this project, because we just had so many issues with Valley and Cedar and the trucks. And a couple of weeks ago I had kind of some new life breathed into me when the supervisor invited us to a thing regarding the Valley Boulevard corridor, and seeing the beautiful potential that Valley could be was really nice. It's just kind of like what you needed to motivate you, and I had all these ideas in my head and things and stuff that I thought we could work on and do, and this kind of really just threw a wrench in stuff, because I feel like this project is a disaster. It's a disaster because that street can't just support these trucks going in and out right there. They just can't. And especially so close to Cedar. I'm not saying it's not a good project. It's just not good for that area right there. So I don't like to publicly put stuff out there like that, guys, but it's really just on my heart to ask the MAC that, we write a letter to the state to really kind of review. Maybe it might be too late for Bloomington, but maybe we need to be the ones to set the precedence for what happens in the future to other towns and cities, because it's going to continue to happen. And someone needs to look at things a little more closely and not just be like, well, that's what it's going to be is what it's going to be. I'm not saying that the county failed us. I don't really, like they said, they were very adamant about it had nothing to do with the county. And sometimes their hands are just tied when it comes to these things. But as we also know, there is give and take, with things that happen. And I feel like maybe the state failed us here. Like the state needs to do something to really look at these on a case by case basis, and understand that the potential damage it can do to a town like Bloomington. So I don't know how you guys feel, or if you guys even want to chime in on it or not, but I just felt really led to say something.
My question is, can we spearhead like a petition though, at least to begin with? Because,
I don't really know honestly, I apologize because this is not like me, but I really just, I took an oath to do what I feel is right, and this is probably bothering me more than anything,
And I'm not entirely sure as to the process of what that would be like, but we can, because it is a state issue, we can inquire with our state partners as to like what some of the implications for the specific bill are, and then maybe seeing if they can come and explain it as well. Unfortunately, because it is not county, but we definitely have those relationships, and we can inquire with the state partners as to what can or can't be done. But we'll go ahead and share.
I'd appreciate that.
The real quick question is why didn't they set up this EV station, whether it's by Tesla Tesla or whatever in a place where we already have trucks? Wouldn't it be smarter if like we have warehouses that are located there so they're not impacting our streets or local streets period and work?
Well, it's apparently they're gearing up towards the future of the law that changed where they do have to actually go to electric trucks.
I just read the law. It doesn't say it's a requirement for every city and county. It says what they have to do is remove barriers. So they could have selected another location.
Correct, which is why I asked
Right.
why
Exactly.
Bloomington,
Yes.
you know? Right.
Well, my question is, how long is that IE corridor planning been in the 30+ years? So I mean, that's already been in the mix, that they're gonna have this corridor so that they can take out the impact of the ports. So I mean, that's in the planning, but it doesn't look like, I mean, like, where they're putting one near the school. You could have put it somewhere else, instead of right in the heart of, the school that's in there.
So I have a question regarding actually what one of the things she said about the meeting. We did have a stronger attendance when the meetings were on that side because predominantly most of our residents are on that south side. Remember when we did them at the high school? Or what is that? Old Colton room or whatever? Yeah. Is there a possibility to? Right. Okay. Okay. Mhm. Mhm. She's gonna inquire to see what they can, if it's even possible, you know. Oh, sorry, Gil. I apologize. Yeah. Okay, guys. It's almost 9. It's almost 9, guys. Sorry. I have to wrap up the meeting now. Uh, okay, so we have wrapped up our new business and we're going to move on to community events, guys. Evelyn's calling you. Community events, anybody? Angela?
We have our women's event this Sunday, which is National Women's Day. It's also a paddle auction, so it's a fundraiser to go back into the branch that helps us to continue to do programs that we do. Awesome. And then also we have in April 10th, we are having a Spring Fling 80s party or dance here. So, and karaoke. Karaoke. Oh, I don't know. No karaoke. No karaoke.
All right.
It is 21 and over. So.
Any community events? Anything? Nope. All right. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who stayed, who commented, who has a passion and love for Bloomington. Keep it up. Have a good night. Adjourn the meeting 8:50 p.m.